This is an A.J. Duggar exclusive.
This is A.J. Duggar talking to Austin Peay State University President Mr. Tim Hall. How you doing today?
Good to see you, A.J.
It's good to see you.
It's been a little while since you got out of here.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I got a couple questions for you. Don't want to hold you too long. First of all, how long have you been the president here?
I'm about to finish my 5th year. I came in August of 2007, so in August of 2012 I'll have 5 years.
Wow, it's going by quick. What else have you done in your career and your life? Like, where are you from, first of all?
I'm originally from Texas. I grew up mostly on the Gulf Coast of Texas, a place called Texas City, down close to Galveston, and that's where I graduated from high school. That's where I met my wife. We were high school sweethearts, and we both went to the University of Houston, where I studied philosophy and she studied speech pathology and audiology. And then after U of H, I went to Rice University for a couple of years in religious studies, thinking that I would be a professor in that area, but I discovered there weren't many jobs. So I went on to law school, and we moved to Austin, Texas. We got married in 1977 while we were still at U of H, and I went to law school at Austin, Texas, and when I got out of there, I worked for a federal judge for a year, and then practiced law with the firm of Hughes and Luce for 5 years. Then my wife and I moved with our then young son to Mississippi, where I joined the faculty of the University of Mississippi Law School. And I taught there for about 18 years. We were there long enough that we were thinking about buying cemetery plots.
Wow.
Toward the end of the time, I got involved in administration, academic administration. I was associate provost from 2002 until 2007. And toward the end of that time, I got involved in fundraising, helping to direct a campaign to raise money to build a new law school at the University of Mississippi.
So what were you doing before you became president? Like, what was it that led you here?
It was about in, I guess, 2006 or so that I started seriously looking to see whether there might be a position. I was interested in being a provost or a president, so I applied to a lot of different places, and this is where I ended up.
Awesome. I'm glad you wound up here. There are some things that people don't know about you, and one of them is that you overcame prostate cancer. Can you tell us about that and how you overcame it and how you found out you had it? You know.
Yes, my father died of prostate cancer when he was 62 years old, and so ever since I've kept a pretty close eye on that, and there's a test you take every year that tries to evaluate whether it's whether you got it. So I guess it was about 2 years or so ago that test showed a change that the doctor thought needed to be checked out. So I had a biopsy, and they discovered cancer in my prostate. And people of my age and with relatively mild, it was just beginning, a very common surgery is just to whack the prostate out. So that's what they did.
Okay. Okay. And another thing people don't know about you is you've written a lot of books. Tell me about the books that you've written.
Well, I've written some. The first book I ever wrote was a short Christian book about marriage called The Labor of Love. And then after that, I wrote my first and my main scholarly book, which was a book about Roger Williams, who was the founder of Rhode Island and a famous advocate for religious liberty in what became the United States. And that I published, I think, in 1998. After that, I wrote a book that was used at the University of Mississippi to introduce students to the university. I was a director of a program, an orientation program for all the new students at the University of Mississippi, and I wrote a book for that course. And then I wrote several books under contract after that, mostly in the area of religion, American religion. So there was one about biographies of the Supreme Court justices, and then a book of biographies about of a number of American religious leaders, and then a reference book that was a sort of history of religion in America. Those, I think, are the main ones.
Okay. I know you're a Christian. What's your religious, what's the word? What is your religion?
I'm probably more Baptist than not, but my wife and I have fellowship with a lot of different folks across our life. We currently attend Grace Community Church here in Clarksville.
Okay, I've been there before. Okay, and what attracted you to Austin Peay? Like, had you been to Clarksville before you became president? Had you seen this town and been around before?
I had never been to Clarksville. Clarksville is the furthest north my wife and I ever lived.
Wow.
So it just seemed impossibly far north to us. So I'd never been here, but I read descriptions of the university and I saw that they were looking for a president, and I loved what I read about Clarksville and what I read about Austin Peay. I actually thought I would have no chance of becoming president here, but my wife kept saying, oh, you've got to apply, you need to apply, and so I did.
Okay. And the school is growing, because I attended this school, and my freshman year was in 2004, and it was smaller then, and not just in terms of numbers. It wasn't that many brothers or minorities here. And then as the years went on, I saw more and more people of all backgrounds, and not only that, but the numbers itself expanded. So how quick has the school been growing?
Well, since the year 2000, it's grown by more than 50%. Since I arrived in 2007, it's grown by just a little short of 20%. It is, since 2000, the fastest growing university in the state of Tennessee.
That's beautiful. Do you have any idea why Austin Peay is growing so quick?
I think it's a combination of things. One of them is that Clarksville is growing. Clarksville is an area where we expect people to continue to come. The other thing is, I think Austin Peay used to be not well known outside of Clarksville,
right,
but is becoming much better known, and students are increasingly understanding that it's a great place to come to school.
Okay. And you're a great president, because I used to see you on campus all the time, in the cafeteria, walking around in the library. You're just really open and social with the students. How important is it to interact with the students? And you're on Facebook too. He's really a very approachable guy. How important is it to interact with the students?
I think it's very important. In terms of the way I am and what I hope to be as a president, it's absolutely important. I don't think I would make a good desk president who's sat behind a desk most of the time and worked with papers. I don't like working with papers very much. I would much prefer to be talking with our students, or talking with our faculty or our staff, or with our alumni. So that's what I do. I just do what I like to do. So,
okay. And
I think it helps the university too that I do so.
Okay, and I gotta say, you guys really are expanding, because my wife got her master's last year, and I graduated in 2009, so I wasn't around much anymore. But she told me that all of a sudden you guys have Papa John's and Subway, and I'm like, oh man, as soon as I graduate, you know, you get all my favorite fast food places.
AJ, we have Starbucks now.
Oh man. Yeah, when I was here, it wasn't none of that. But you guys definitely are growing. I definitely see it. And what's in the future for Austin Peay?
I think we'll continue to grow, because modest growth is going to offer more opportunities for our students. It will allow us to create more new programs, so students will have more things to choose from. We're also working overtime to help to make this a place where we really focus on helping our students to graduate and get a college degree. We don't want folks just to come and take a few courses and then get knocked out by life or some other circumstance. We really want them. Tennessee needs them to graduate. So we spend a lot of time thinking about how we can be more supportive of our students as they work towards graduation. We can't ever replace their work. We can't ever replace their responsibility for taking responsibility of their education. But I think there are things that we can do that make it more likely that they'll be successful. So we'll continue to focus on that. We're really focusing all over the university on excellence, on being a great university for our faculty and our students to really represent a great university. And we've got faculty doing some amazing things all over the university, and it's my job to help support what they're doing and try to create opportunities where they can be more successful as faculty members and as scholars in their areas. We're trying to do the same thing for our students. This year, for example, we had 2 of our students win a prestigious national award that has, so far as I know, not happened before at Austin Peay. And that is, we had 2 students win a Goldwater Award, which is an undergraduate scholarship for students who are in the natural sciences or in mathematics. And there are about 300 in the country. And this year, just to give you an idea how they're spread out, Harvard had 2, Princeton had 2, MIT had 2. Tennessee generally didn't fare quite so well. The University of Tennessee Knoxville had 1, MTSU had 1, Vanderbilt had 1, University of Memphis had 1, Austin Peay had 2, Harvard and Princeton and MIT. So that's the kind of excellence that we're trying to encourage and support our students in obtaining.
Awesome. And one last question, is there anything else that you want to tell the Austin Peay students, faculty, Clarksville, Tennessee, anything else you want to tell people?
Well, I would tell people I think this is just a great place to work. It's a great place to go to school if you're a student. My wife and I walk around sometimes in the evenings, especially when the weather's nice, and we both went to a large university where we have very large classes, and we're constantly look at one another and say, we wish we'd gone to a place just like this, where there was enough students, so there were lots of opportunities, but where faculty were really engaged with the students, and it was possible for you to get to know your faculty members, for you even to get to know the president of the university. This is that kind of place, and I just consider it a great privilege to be able to work here.
Awesome. You heard him.
This is A.J. Duggar talking to Austin Peay President, Mr. Tim Hall.
Was I supposed to use that low voice?
Oh, it's up to you. I was just messing.
This is an A.J. Duggar exclusive.